The question we ask everyone at this time of season is, are you ready for the new season? So how's pre-season been going?
Yeah, it's been. I'm going to give you the generic question that I'm sure all teams and players give you as well. Yeah, but it's been good. And pre-season is hard because you're training. Training's intense, and obviously the games are about, but they are friendlies, and I think everyone's building up to the start of Super League. So for us, it's intense training. It's probably the hardest training we do of the year in terms of volume, but I'll be looking forward to when round one comes and you can actually get back on the field and do the job itself.
You're not doing all the running up hills and stuff that we see the players do every year.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We've done a few tough field sessions this year already. I think last year we went to Formby Beach and did the sand dunes over there. So we've done plenty of them kind of sessions. Some of the lads enjoy that kind of thing more than others, though, if I'm honest.
No warm weather training in Lanzarote or anything?
No, sadly not this year. No, we're on -2, I think it is, outside. So woolly hat and gloves on, and we're all good to go.
So you start. We've been in a presentation. You come in about 7:30 in the morning. Is that right? Is that the start time for a day in the life of a referee, so to speak?
Yeah, it is. It is for us this morning. I think all the lads were in by about 7:45 this morning. So this morning, for example, we spent some time looking at some head contact clips to try and gain some consistency on what we're going to do going forward in Super League, and some good, healthy discussion around that. And then that builds us into the day in terms of the mobility, and then we're into the gym, and then we're out on the field later, which is the heavy stuff.
Free massages as well. That's not bad, because people pay a lot of money for that kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. I think generally after your game you will feel a little bit sore, especially if you've done. Generally you're averaging between 8 and 10k at generally pretty high speed. So I think especially some of the older lads, I think come Monday morning they're like jumping on the bed.
Why did you become a referee in the first place? I know it's a question you probably get asked a lot.
Good question. You know what? I said to these people, I never intended on being a referee at all. I enjoyed playing, was younger, was never really good enough, but actually, I give it a go, which people say, I'll just give it a go, see if you like it. I absolutely loved it. I loved the adrenaline of being in the middle and making big decisions, and suddenly, really, it turned into a good hobby, extra pocket money when I was young, refereeing the community game, and suddenly I was, I enjoyed it that much. I was in the professional game, and a full-time career came on the back of it, and I love rugby league. That's the first point. I love the sport, but actually, I really love the job of. It may sound strange to some people, but being in the middle and the pressure of big games and making big decisions.
Pressure comes with abuse at times. How do you deal with that, both on and off the field? Not just the players, of course, these days, but in the old days, you used to write to the newspapers to slag off referees. Now you can do it instantly. I
think on the field, actually, it's pretty. The players are generally pretty good. And if you're in a game, you'll know you'll make decisions, and the crowd will go up because you're that zoned in on the game. You're not focused on what, certainly in Super League games, you're not focused on what the fans are saying or the crowd, etc. You're just that tunnel into the game. The challenge has certainly become the last 5 or so years with the evolution of social media. That becomes more of a challenge. Not as much necessarily for me or some of the other refs, because I think you gain a pretty thick skin as a referee over the years, and making mistakes and some bad experiences, but it's more your family that I'm more conscious of my wife, and she reads some of the things. So that part of it I don't like, to be honest. I think that is some of it is a different level and completely unacceptable. But I think as a referee you've got to move on pretty quickly.
New season, there's always new rules coming in. It seems like the ones coming in now are the biggest changes in a while, especially regarding head injuries. How difficult is it for you as a group to adapt to those new rules in time for the new season?
Yeah, I mean we've had a long run at this one. So I think it was October when we first met around these new changes, and I was going to put them into the play for this season. So there's a lot of change, but that came earlier enough for us to work in pre-season and how this was going to look come round 1 in February. We've done friendly games where we've incorporated them. We've done club visits with clubs, so we've been around. We've got the message out now, and equally for us, some of these friendlies have been great practice for us, because, like you say, a lot of change is coming for us, not just as well as the players.
You know what's going to happen. First Telluride game of the season, whichever one you do, because they're all on TV now. First incorrect play of the ball, crowd's going to go up. Everyone's got to learn quickly, haven't they, about how things are going to be going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. But we've already seen from the friendlies already that the players are adapting. With any new rule change, whether that was the 6 again that came in a few years ago, or any change, what it may be, the shoulder charge, players adapted pretty quickly, and I'm confident that, especially around the more the technical nuances of what's happening in the ruck, I think the players will adapt, and ultimately, no matter with anything, the best teams will adapt the quickest in any sport. That will be ultimately what will ride the good teams from the not as good teams.
Do you take any, I don't know if inspiration is the right word, do you watch any other sports and see how referees deal with things like that? I mean, I guess you must be glad that there's no players walking around with imaginary yellow cards in rugby league. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, I think when you are a referee, you have a lot of respect for anybody of any sport that goes out and referee. And I was watched Wayne Barnes in the Rugby Union World Cup final. I thought the way he controls the game and speaks to the players I think that is, top tier in terms of what we can look at in rugby league. Equally with the football lads, I think they're absolutely, to make a decision as quick as they do and actually see stuff as quickly. I think they do a really good job in what is sometimes feels a thankless job.
Do you have a message for supporters? You ask a coach at this time of year, say, get behind the lads, blah blah blah. But how do we support referees throughout the match officials throughout the new season? I
think the key thing for me is a lot of people think that maybe we've gone away in pre-season and the referees have suddenly come up with this idea about where we're going to clamp down on everything this season. That simply is not the case. This is a direction from the sport of how they want us to police the game, whether that be head contact, whether that be the changes to what's going to happen in the ruck, around the play of the ball. This is very much coming from the coaches, the stakeholders, the senior executives. We're being instructed that this is how they want the game to look. So, certainly around head contact is that, go easy on us a little bit, I suppose, is the message, is that, we're doing our jobs of trying to make rugby league a safer sport, and not just, I don't like using the phrase we're killing the game. I'd actually say we're trying to safeguard the future of the sport.
No, you are killing the game, it's your fault. Finally, any dirt on James Child, because obviously he's on the podcast now.
You know what, I'm really disappointed that he wasn't here today.
Well, he's probably doing something important, isn't he?
So no, James is great. James was a good influence on me as well. I thought always enjoyed his company, and actually misses kind of his dry sense of humour around the place. But I do listen to the podcast as well, so that is generally, sometimes I listen to it to work out if my decision was right or not from the weekend, to see what James thought. But no, it's all good fun.